Before we get started, we'll just do a Indigenous land acknowledgement. County of Wellington is situated on multiple treaties within the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe. Historic agreements also include those made with the Haudenosaunee. We acknowledge this land has and continues to be inhabited by other nations throughout time, such as the Attawandaron, Métis, and the Inuit. We acknowledge we are not the original stewards of these lands, but have the responsibility of caring for this land and its people, and to ensure that future generations are able to thrive here. County of Wellington remains dedicated to a better understanding of past, present, and future as a gesture of commitment to the process of ongoing and meaningful reconciliation. You're encouraged to reflect and understand the treaty agreements in the places where you live and work. And with that, I should introduce myself. I'm Andy Lennox, Wellington County Warden and board member of SWIFT. And so thank you all for being here today. It's a pleasure to stand with you here in Wellington County, where we are working diligently to address the connectivity needs of our residents and businesses. As Warden of Wellington County and a member of the SWIFT board, I am proud of the progress we've made toward expanding broadband infrastructure across southwestern Ontario. That's okay. I'm done with that one. The collaboration between SWIFT and the Ontario government has been pivotal in advancing broadband access to underserviced communities. Together, we've seen tremendous results, and today's announcement underscores the provincial government's commitment to ensuring that every corner of Ontario can benefit from high-speed internet. None of this would be possible without the strong leadership and support of our partners at the provincial level. It is truly my pleasure to introduce someone whose leadership and dedication to expanding broadband access has been instrumental to making today's progress possible. So please join me in welcoming Ontario's Minister of Infrastructure, the Honourable Kinga Surma. Please join me in welcoming her. With that, I'll turn it over to you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It is such a pleasure to be here in Wellington County, and of course it's such a pleasure to be here with my colleagues, Minister Thompson, who it's so lovely to see. I haven't really seen very much of you all summer, so it's nice to see you, Steve Pinsonneault, and of course MPP Matt Ray, who have been very good colleagues, very strong advocates of broadband and connectivity expansion throughout the province. It's nice to be here in southwestern Ontario and with our SWIFT partners. In fact, when we first started building our broadband program, it was SWIFT that we went to seek advice and guidance on how to connect every single part of the province. And they've done such a phenomenal job over the years in connecting 70,000 premises that we decided that we needed to extend that partnership and do more with them, which is why today we're announcing an additional investment of $34 million to help connect 14 communities in southwestern Ontario, which will be approximately 3,000 residents. Many of you know that broadband is something that's of great importance to us. SWIFT was actually the first to recognize its importance across the province, which is why we sought their advice. But the Premier was very clear, particularly during COVID, that we needed to make sure that every single premise in Ontario was connected by the end of 2025, because we know how important it is to families, we know how important it is to businesses, we know how important it is to farmers to make sure that we stay competitive and that we continue to grow. And so it's quite nice to be here with my colleagues, and I think I'm supposed to introduce Minister Thompson over here, who has led the way, helped to develop the $4 billion broadband program that the province has and has helped execute it. We have presented 2 pieces of legislation, and there's more coming in order to make sure that we achieve our timeline. So, Minister Thompson, over to you. Thank you so much for your support.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and it is such a pleasure to join all of you today. And to Andy and Kinga, Minister Surma, I thank you so much for coming to the Barrel House to join both Steve Pinsonneault and Matt Ray and myself for this announcement that is so well placed and will demonstrate quick return on the investment. And I know that that's something that's important to the Premier and to the province as well. And I just want to give a shout out to the municipal leadership that is here as well. And thank you so much for taking time to be here. As Minister Surma pointed out, SWIFT has led by example for many years. And with that, it is so awesome to join all of you today to support Minister Surma, and in my role as Minister for Rural Affairs, share with you that our government is committed to the economic development of rural, Indigenous, and Northern communities right across this province. And that continues today with this announcement. We want people and businesses and farms across Ontario to prosper, because when people on side roads and concessions, as well as major urban centers prosper, our province stands solid in terms of building for the future. You know, the plan that we have highlights our commitment, again, as Minister Surma pointed out, to rural families, to farms, and to businesses from corner to corner to corner in this province of Ontario. And high-speed internet is a given now. And it's because of that, our government is steadfast, starting with the Premier and Minister Surma, who fights so incredibly hard for all of us to make sure that we're connected. And this announcement today is going to drive dividends. The addition of high-speed internet is essential to all of our communities across the province. And ladies and gentlemen, it also shows our confidence that we have in our municipal leadership in southwestern Ontario. You know, the $34 million investment that has been announced today is a testament to the amazing work that is facilitated through SWIFT right across southwestern Ontario. And it's because of that we stand proudly here in Wellington County to say we have more work to do, and we are dedicated to getting it done at all levels of government, particularly with SWIFT, Southwestern Wardens Caucus, and with the leadership of Minister Surma, as well as our Premier. I proudly stand with you as Minister of Rural Affairs to say we're getting the job done. And now it's my pleasure to call to the microphone an amazing colleague of mine that represents the southern part of southwestern Ontario. I think when I think out loud, I represent the western side, Matt's kind of in the middle, and Steve Pinsonneault, an amazing parliamentary assistant to Rural Affairs, represents the southern area as MPP for Lambton, Kent, Middlesex. And he has been a municipal councillor for 17 years. He understands the importance of connectivity across this province. And with that, I invite Steve to the microphone. Welcome to Wellington County.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to speak with you today. As Parliamentary Assistant to the Minister of Rural Affairs, I know that our government is committed to supporting rural and Indigenous communities. We recognize the invaluable role that these communities play in the province, and we want to strengthen our rural Ontario now and for generations to come. This commitment includes creating opportunities for families, businesses, to help stimulate economy and growth. And that's why our partnership with SWIFT, the Southwestern Integrated Fiber Technology Plan, comes into play. We know access to high-speed internet helps businesses in rural communities to realize their full potential, grow their operation, and create new jobs. Let's take a look at the few of the many ways that the high-speed internet can help families in rural Ontario. From uploading family photos, checking your social media, or streaming movies, access to high-speed internet helps you do it all faster. It provides residents who are entrepreneurs, small at-home based businesses, owners, opportunity to compete with much larger companies. It also helps address the needs of people with disabilities. As an example, residents who are blind or visually impaired can use screen reader programs that audibly describe websites and materials to users. This list of benefits is for residents to gain high-speed internet in a long but very important one. Today's announcement of the vital importance for both residents and businesses in rural communities throughout Southwest Ontario. Thank you for the opportunity to help create this important investment in our future of rural communities. I would now like to take a moment and introduce MPP Matt Ray. He has been helpful all throughout my process of being here. He is the local MPP for this area, and he's a great guy. Thank you.
Thank you, PA Pinsonneault, for that very kind introduction. It's wonderful to be here this afternoon with all of you at the Barrel House, and I want to thank Pete and Marla and your team for hosting us today here for this very important announcement. I'd also want to thank, obviously, Minister Surma, Minister Thompson, and PA Pinsonneault for coming to the town of Minto to make this very important announcement. This investment will support thousands of small businesses, our agriculture sector, and families across southwestern Ontario. In the 21st century, access to high-speed, reliable internet is a necessity. And our provincial government is committed to ensuring we bring high-speed internet to every Ontarian in every community by the end of 2025. And it's great Ontario companies such as Whiteman that are helping us do that. I also want to recognize and thank our municipal partners from across southwestern Ontario who have helped us reach this day. In particular, I obviously want to thank Warden Lennox for his leadership both as the Mayor of Wellington North, but also as Warden for Wellington County, Mayor Turton, who is here as well for the town of Minto. And in particular, I want to thank former Mayor George Bridge, who was an active member of the Swiss board and the organization, and obviously his impact is still being felt today. Former Mayor Bridge mentioned when I arrived, this is his last to-do item before he retired a couple of years ago now. So now George can tell Sue he's officially retired. Nothing more to do, just only her list now from now on, George. But I know it is because of these partnerships that we'll continue to deliver for rural Ontario. And I know personally I'm committed to working with my colleagues, some of them behind me here today, to ensure that Perth Wellington receives its fair share of provincial funds and that we continue to build a better, stronger, and safer Ontario. Thank you, and I now turn it back to our lovely MC.
Thanks, Matt. So there you have it, folks. We have a wonderful announcement today, and I would really like to highlight how grateful we are in rural Ontario to the provincial government for their commitment to broadband and bringing it to rural and more remote areas of Ontario. This truly is life-changing for our residents and businesses. So thank you very much. We very much appreciate it, and I'm sure all the residents who will be benefiting from this will be especially appreciative. So with that, on behalf of Wellington County and the SWIFT board, thank you all for being here today, and let's celebrate. This is fantastic.